The 2025 MLS Cup, I mean, it's going to feature Jalil, a first-time champion. And everyone always remembers their first time in just about everything in life. And for these two teams in Vancouver and Inter Miami, these are teams that spent time at the foot of their conference tables. These are teams that really struggled. I think people forget where Inter Miami was in terms of just their standings. They were 15th or so in the East when Messi arrived, and it's not always easy to turn things around, even when you're the GOAT. But credit to Chris Henderson, who did a lot of work, who's now in Atlanta, and really build that thing up. And here they are in a final, Vancouver and Miami. And usually, Jalil, two teams like this couldn't be further away geographically. They usually don't have any sort of familiarity, right? You know what I mean? Like they don't have any sense of how the other person is going to go, and there's so many unknowns. Well, this ain't that, right? These teams have already played in a winner or go home situation in the CONCACAF Champions League, which, of course, Vancouver got the better of them in the two legs. So as we dig in a little deeper here and have a conversation that only you'll hear on New Ground ahead of the 2025 MLS Cup Final, when you think just from an executive summary space, Miami and Vancouver, what jumps out at you?
I mean, that Miami's killing everybody right now.
Right.
And what's Vancouver going to do about it?
It's that simple, isn't it?
For me, it is, yeah. And is there enough for Vancouver to be able to win MLS Cup? Yes. Is it going – if I'm advising you to bet, I'm not advising you to bet against Miami again, but at the same time, you have to play the games. And the way in which Vancouver went about the semifinal gives them a lot of confidence. When you talk to people around their organization, they're like, all right, well, everybody is talking about how amazing Miami has been, to which they have, but don't forget about the last time that we played them. We went up there and we beat them 3-1 and gave them that work.
That's right.
However, this is going to be a completely different fixture. I even thought that it was going to be the end of the road for them getting to San Diego, because San Diego had been so excellent at home. They were very, very good throughout the course of the season, consistent, seemed to be performing better and better and better as the playoffs went on. And I thought that the home field advantage would be the X factor. But the way in which this Vancouver side has really shown that they can reinvent themselves on the fly whenever they deal with anything that's adverse. The quarterfinals for me was an adverse moment for Vancouver. Even though they won it, it was like stressful. They could have dealt with it in regulation, but they, again, showed their character. And any time that we've found ourselves in a situation where it's like, oh man, like the run for Vancouver is probably done at this point in time. They've lost maybe one or two games or whatever have you. They find a way to make sure that they get themselves back on track very quickly. And that's the sign of an excellent team. That's the sign of an excellent group that is bought in to making sure that you aren't locked into mentalities that don't necessarily benefit you when the information changes. So that's what I'm going to be tapped into. It's, for me, looking fully through the perspective of Vancouver, because everybody knows, again, that Miami has been out here doing just crazy stuff. Allende is playing in a way that makes Messi's contributions not necessary to win games, where Messi's numbers through the playoffs have been ridiculous. These fools have scored 17 goals in the playoffs.
That's right. And giving up 3.
17 goals in 5 games. 17 goals in 5 games.
Stupid. It's not even a real number. Like, it's some FIFA type stuff, right? Like, it doesn't make sense. And the expected goals per game for Miami, over 2, right? First team since 2019. And look, 98 goals combined during the regular season. Messi, of course, 61 goal contributions. The reason I brought up 2019, because that was Carlos Vela's year when he had 52, and we thought, oh my goodness, 52. The idea that he's nearly 10% better than that is just it's just off the charts for sure. And I thought you were so smart because you pointed to something. I saw Messi misplace 2 passes in that game, and I'm literally going, dude, he's having an off game. That's crazy to me. And even one of them, I was like, I think the wide player could have stayed wider. You know what I mean? He misjudged the flight, but I don't think it was vintage Messi in the conference final. But give Mascherano credit, and maybe because Suarez made it easy for him. But I love it. We say his name is Allende because you can't spell Allende without Allen, and he's balling. And I like to think that it's something about the ALLEN that is separating him right now. Although he scored more goals in the postseason than I think I did in my entire life, including probably ASO, probably. So, but it's amazing because when a player is hot like that, like, can you recall having a teammate that was as hot as Allende?
Yeah, I can think of almost a player at every single club I played at.
Mm, mm.
In Nashville 2021, Hani, for sure. He scored a
Honey, for
hat trick.
sure.
He scored a
Yeah.
hat trick against Chicago in like 6 minutes, bro. Like, this is the easiest game I've ever played in my career. And they got a red card in like the 32nd minute or something. Like, I don't know. Like,
Hey, was your heat map? Was your heat map basically you had 80 touches?
that's where as a center back, like, you're just doing dumb stuff. Like, they'll get the game is 4-0, and you're gonna with the man up in the second half, like, your fellow center back is literally, I don't know, 25 yards across from you. You get the ball. In any other circumstance, inside of the foot, you're pinging that joint, like, with your left foot. Like, you're doing just stuff where, like, instead of taking, a goal kick out of the air, like, heading it with the clearance as far as you can, like, you take it off the chest and, like, or, like, off the shoulder and hit it to your other center back. Like, it's one of those types of games. So to keep it succinct, 2021 Hani Mukhtar for sure. Like, in when I was in New England, it was the combination of Carlos Hill and Gustavo Bo. But so, and then in Seattle, the combination of Clint Dempsey, Obafemi Martins. In Chicago, it was Mike McGee when he won the MVP. So yeah, but to your point, when you have a player like Allende who is just balling, like, the header he scores in the semifinal, it's like, yo, this is a player with a lot of confidence. And he could have scored 4. He probably could have scored 5 in that game, right? It's a dope thing to experience. I used to always love experiencing my teammates go through that because, selfishly, when you're in a, like, dog eat dog world, as a defender, like, you're happy for all of your attackers to score. You see what I'm saying? So, like, from a center back's position or a right back's position, like, if you have a player that is putting up crazy offensive numbers, like, it's jet fuel for you as well, and you're not even close to anything that would make you jealous about that person internally doing their thing and helping the team elevate to the levels that everybody wants to elevate, and allowing everybody to play the music, the hip hop, the reggaeton in the locker room or whatever, and you take your shirt off, pictures and all that stuff. That's what everybody wants.
What I would love, and I know this is boring as hell, and certainly nerd alert, Allen. I would love to see a scoreless first half because I love the idea of every single player and coach and staff member going into the locker room believing that everything is still there for them, and it's not about maintaining a lead or getting back into the match, but more what can we do to go win this match. I'm not going to necessarily make a prediction, but I will say, and hopefully this is not Captain Obvious. If Miami scores 1, I think they're going to score 4 or 5. Like, I think it's going to be that kind of match. And for Vancouver to have a chance, I think they have to keep them to a shutout. I really do. I think they have to find some sort of way to do something that no one has been able to do. I just don't know if Vancouver and can they go toe to toe? And they can because they have Mueller, they have Berhalter, They have Brian White, they have Jaden Nelson, they have Ryan Gauld. Like they have dudes. So it'll be interesting to see if this is like maybe one of the highest scoring MLS Cups, or will it maybe be like what we saw last year? Remember that game opened up real quick, right? Boom, boom, boom.
Mm-hmm.
And then there was nothing else. 90 minutes later, 2-1 to LA, but all the action was in the front end of the match. So, I think for me in MLS Cup history, it's like, can you get through to the point in the match where you're just playing the match and not the occasion? But every single person is playing the occasion when the whistle starts because it's a big occasion. So it's just a matter of who can stay away from the self-inflicted wounds. And also even more in a positive way, like who can go and do something brilliant. That's when I love championship moments, when people make plays as opposed to making mistakes.
I agree with the last thing that you said, that, the moments are really what define, who's able to win the game. And like, it's about making plays at the end of the day. And yeah, you hope that it's more about players making, living up to the moment by making amazing plays as opposed to, one capitalizing on mistakes.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
I don't know. Footy is a game of mistakes at the same time too. But in general,
and finals are different. Yeah.
Yeah, and finals are different, 100%. But in general, you're bugging. 0-0 at halftime? Nah. What? Vancouver keeping Miami off the score sheet? Nah. You're bugging.
Man.
No chance. Vancouver's way to win this game is to just embrace the fact that you're in a shootout. If they score 2 goals on you early, pick the ball up out of the back of the net and go and score yours too. If you score early, keep scoring, because they're going to score. Miami will score.
Yeah.
The only game that I've seen Miami play as of late where I was like, whoa, what? This is weird. Actually, let me say 2. The Leagues Cup Final.
Yeah, I knew you were going to say that.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. And the game that they bow out of the Club World Cup against PSG. Right. Those 2 games, it was like, from an offensive standpoint, it was like they had nothing popping.
Right.
That's 2 games out of the last, I don't know how many they've played, 150 since Messi's got there. I don't know. I'm not looking. Right. But like, the way that they're playing right now, they will score their goals. And Vancouver's got goals in them too. So like, this ain't going to be no pragmatic thing, move, shift in a low block, somebody man-mark Messi, and then it's like, okay, done deal, dusted. Right. This is not going to be – every single manager in the world has tried to come up with tactics that work to nullify Messi and the teams that he plays for.
Yeah.
None of that works. Yeah. It ain't going to work. It's not going to work to the point where you can – X him out of the game. You can X his influence out of the game. Because again, even if he plays somewhat of a decoy role, and Allende ends up scoring the majority of the goals, you still have to focus on where Messi is at. So I don't really care what kind of tactic you use. For me, what I always want is I want to be entertained. I want to remember this game.
Yes.
There are certain MLS Cups that you remember.
Yep.
LAFC Philly, for me, that is the best MLS Cup in
I said
history.
that too. I feel that same way. And also, I think I know personally I was going through a very a time in my life where the game and I were not seeing eye to eye as a professional.
Hey, don't talk about footy like it's a lady that did you wrong, bruh. Footy is a beautiful endeavor that is always on the side of God. Don't do that.
I don't want to. I always put everything in relationships, and I humanize just about everything. But I will say,
I'm messing with you.
But I was going to say though.
That
game though, man, like that game. I'm telling you, I remember where I was in my life and my thoughts in my head, on the outside deck, beautiful day, watching this game, going, man, I love this game. And then that and the World Cup at that time, all that stuff, man, like it just made me feel it just brought me back to life. And you said something that I think is got to be probably the thing that Sorensen, the Vancouver head coach, knows in the bottom of his heart and the top of it too. Many a manager have scripted and schemed and planned and devised and prayed and cajoled to stop Messi. And it just feels like in a year where he's going to be the Landon Donovan MVP, no doubt about that, first guy to do back-to-back, 29 goals and 19 assists. It's like 13 goal contributions in the postseason. He does feel inevitable, right? Like we say that a lot about Holling. Shout out to Erling getting 100 goals in 111 matches in the Prem, which is wild. But for me, it's just going to be hard to think that this last dance, Alba, Busquets with their homie Messi, that this doesn't turn out their way. But I just feel like Vancouver all year long has been running through these stop signs. And defensively, they know they have a team that can hang. So the one thing I'll say, and we can start to wrap this up and dig in deeper and into the World Cup draw and everything else happening this week, I will say the one period of time in this match that I've spent some time thinking about, it's the last 15 minutes of the first half. That is where Miami's matches have really, we'll call it a danger zone. They scored the most and conceded the most goals in the final 15 minutes of the first half. And I just feel like the Whitecaps also have a tendency to score the majority of their goals at the end of each half. So I'm really interested to see minute 31 through 45 what happens, because that could be the point in the match where it gets cattywampus or pear-shaped and things happen and they close back up. And then we have the interval and everyone gets their orange slices and comes back out with a clean kit. And we'll see how that goes. But for me, on the outside looking in, I'm going to see Commissioner Don Garber, the State of the League. And what I would say that he's got a good final to talk about. He's got a great final. He's got two clubs that were outstanding all year long in just about every competition that they were in. And I think they will live up to the billing of having a great final. So congratulations to Miami for hosting. Let's not forget, this is a David Beckham project in so many ways. Jorge Mas and what they've done to ignite that market is fantastic. So we're hopeful for a fantastic final, and we look forward to breaking it down. But at least that we know that one of these clubs next year will have a star on their jersey to represent their MLS Cup championship. So we wish everyone the best as they make their way to South Florida as well.
Take a look, I'm shining. Moonwalk, keep both feet gliding. I'm up now, great timing. When I was down, was you riding for me? When I was down, was you riding for me?